Hey everybody, it's Tanya Veit from AAEglass.com. Welcome to the YouTube channel and welcome to Great Glass Freakin Blobs. That's a great name, guys. I teach classes here in Florida. I teach 5-day workshops and we do very advanced things. And one of the students said to me a couple months ago, I wish I could just make great freaking blobs. And so I thought, everything I do is pretty complicated. And so let's take it down a notch and let's make some great freaking blobs. So I made some Dichro blobs and then I thought, well, how can I get them so they turn out fantastic for you guys? We're gonna get into it right now. Before we do, I'm gonna show you some fantastic blobs that I made that are just incredible depth. Now, for those of you that are new here, welcome to the Tanya Show. When I do free glass tutorials, I only have one camera angle because it's just little old me in the studio. But if you are interested in any of the paid classes, of course, you can go to AAEglass.com, and those are filmed with a professional production crew with multiple angles. So you're not going to see my bright, shiny face on this video. But trust me, if you are new here, I look exactly like Jennifer Aniston. So that's all you need to know. Okay, so check out the depth in these. I'm going to come real tight with these during the show and tell. These are simple if you follow a few rules. I mean, wouldn't it be cool if, I know you guys got a ton of dichroic scrap in your studio. The camera just cannot capture the amazing lens and depth effect where it looks like a lens. These are about 4 to 5 layers. They're crazy. They're crazy awesome. So let me just show a few of these. Of course, it's super bright here today, and I'm in the studio. And there's tons of, and a glare, huh? But look at that, guys. Oh, these are so good in person. I wish you could be right here with me. All right, so we're gonna do a few of these. And I've got 4 different ways. Truthfully, guys, I could probably do 2 videos on this, maybe 3. But we'll make it real easy. But here's how it's gonna go. I need to teach you a couple basic things that you have to know in order to be successful with your dichroic glass blobs. Let me come out just a little bit here, okay? A few basic things. So we're gonna run through that quick, and there's not gonna be a lot of talky on this. It's gonna be boom, boom, boom. This is the 4 ways to do it. Right below here, this video, in the description link, I'm going to put the timestamp for each project of which it is. And even more so, and moreover, how's that? I also don't edit my free videos, everybody. You should know that by now, right? And I'm going to do, at the end of each segment, I'm going to put the stack layup of the glass. In other words, step 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to want to know this so when you come back to the video. All right, guys, a couple things. Oh, I just want to show you this. Yeah, I get distracted. Oh my gosh, stop it. You guys, I can't even, I'm going to go like super close. Can you even look at this? Wait to see how I made that. All right, first of all, I hope everybody got their Dichro Dazzle scrap pack. So I take as the owner of AAE Glass, there is one thing that I am a stickler about, and that is scrap packs for you dichroic jewelry people out there, because that's how I started too. And I would order scrap packs, and I'd be so irritated when I got all the dark colors, or just like a huge chunk of like this dark red, and then like a couple. I hated that. I hated it because scrap is, money, and Bullseye is going up in price February 1st. That's across the board, nationwide. And so you can bet that CBS Dichroic is going to go up too, because of course they use Bullseye glass to coat their coatings on. Look, this is awesome. Look at this. Hold on. Okay, so what these are Dichro Dazzle. It takes 3 months to make these, and we are the only website that has it, because I'm the one that designed it. So this is dichroic coatings on specialty Bullseye glass, fracture streamer. And what I do when we get this glass in and we cut it for scrap is I have my warehouse staff divide each color in bins. I'm not kidding, okay? I take it very seriously, and then they pick from each bin, so everybody gets a selection like this all the time. If you look at our reviews, people are like, wow, these scrap packs are unbelievable, because, I'm not messing around. That's a ½ pound of Dichro Dazzle. And again, it's just awesome stuff. Look at that one. Stop it. Okay, I'm going to work on this piece of black glass right here that I fused so you guys can see, because we're going to be working with clear dichroic. But what's special about this stuff is, first, it's Bullseye specialty, like that's fracture streamer, and then I have them send it to CBS, and I ask CBS to coat it with the coatings and the colorings that I find best. After 15 years of making, I can't even, thousands and thousands of pieces of jewelry and teaching forever, I know the coatings I like, and so I had them put it on this glass. But also, this glass is 3 millimeter thick. This is the thicker dichroic. You can't even find thicker dichroic hardly anywhere anymore because everybody buys the thin. Well, let me show you how to use this stuff. Now, of course, if you don't have the Dichro Dazzle, as I'm filming this right now, we've already sold 400 or 500 packs, I believe, and we have like 60 left. So it's probably going to sell out after this. I already have more in the works, but it will be a few months. Now, don't panic, because this is just the super, super, super awesome dichroic. But of course, you can use regular dichroic, but you're just going to have to, you know, tone it down a little bit and not have such snazzy stuff, okay? All right. There's a few things, I know, the boring stuff before we rock it, that you've got to know before we start making great freaking blobs, okay? First of all, this is a piece of dichroic glass, and as you can see, let me come in just a little bit more here. Of course, on my phone, you know, the screen is very small, and it's probably going to be superimposed, but better too close than not enough. All right, this is the same color of dichroic, guys. All right, this does not have a clear cap on it, and when I teach people in classes, we call this strong color. Strong color. This is dichroic with no cap. All right, can you see that? Strong color. And then we have the same coloring with a piece of clear glass over it. Okay, that's thin clear over it, and that gives it depth. All right, that gives it depth. So this has more of a lens effect with a clear coat. Depth, strong color. I'm going to use those phrases throughout the blobs, and it's important that you know the look of this. So when dichroic is not capped, it is strong color. When it's capped, it has more depth, okay? That's important. You can make blobs to your heart's content and just throw stuff together. That's why they call them blobs. Or we can control it, and I just taught this in class. We needed something to do, and I said, well, let him make blobs, and I just got an email from him. How are you, Robert? And him and then another young lady that just said that she sold out of their blobs. She had 40 in a show and they were gone. All right. Now, we don't want to cold work these guys. We want to make some things easy on us. All right. You will have to cold work if you stack up too much glass and it blobs out too much, but that's just a grinder, and then you can fire polish that. All right. If you don't know what fire polishing is, check out any of my free jewelry videos and we discuss that extensively. All right. Second thing you got to know. Which side is the dichro side of the glass? We're going to whip right through this, okay? I take a stick. Now, for black glass, obviously, that's pretty darn easy, right? Okay, that's pretty easy. So get out a piece of black glass or a piece of, you know, black construction paper if you're working with the clear, which we're mostly working with. And, you know, it's very easy to tell when it's a strong color. So this is silver, which is one of the stronger coatings, and you can very easily see, you know, which side is the coating. So all this is thin bullseye glass with a coating of dichroic. Take your toothpick, all right, your wood skewer, and let's see if we can get this going here. There you go. All right. You see the reflection because dichroic is a metal oxide which reflects, all right? So you're going to see the reflection of the toothpick on here. Now, if the point, see how there's a point on this real stick and a point obviously in the reflection. If the points are touching, if the reflection is touching, that is the dichroic side of the glass, okay? Flip it over. You're still going to see a reflection. It's going to be a little more faint, but the reflection, the points are not touching because it's not the dichroic side. There's a gap between the 2 points, the point of the reflection and the point of your toothpick. That is the glass side of the glass. That's the non-dichro side. Point to point dichro, point to point with a space between the points, non-dichro. Hope that makes sense. All right, so we got to know that. And the other thing, basic rule of glass is glass wants to be 6 millimeter thick, which is a 1/4 inch. They make two kinds of glass, guys, whether you're System 96 or 90 COE or bullseye glass, okay? They make two kinds of glass. There's thin, 2 millimeter, and there's standard, 3 millimeter, okay? So in other words, two standard pieces of glass, all right, which is 3 millimeter, equals a perfect fuse, a 1/4 inch. That's 2 layers. Now, if you were working with thin glass, guys, and you were fusing something, this is some thin glass, it would be 2, 4, 6 millimeters, all right? So if you're using thin, you want to get to that 6 millimeter. Anything over that, it starts to flow out, right? And it starts to flow out and you start to have some problems. So cutting is essential Look, I'm smacking the table like you guys are here. Cutting is essential. The better the cutting that you do with the blobs, the less cold working you have to do. You know, so let me just kind of show you an example of that. Here is a color tinted cap that I did. I'm going to show you how to do this, but you can see on the edges that it melted too much. This was about 9-10 millimeters, which is too much. So glass will just keep on flowing to reach that thickness of a 1/4 inch, right? So your original footprint of glass, which is this square that I cut, it's a 1 1/4 inch. See how the glass flows out around it? Because I stacked it up too high. Unless you dam it, you know, contain the flow, it's going to flow right around the footprint of glass, the original piece that you cut. All right, so all I would do with this is just take it to a grinder, because sometimes I just want to keep on stacking and make some fantastic stuff. You can either leave it like that where it flows around the edge over your original footprint of glass, which is the piece that you cut, or you can grind it. It's up to you. If you're you know, it depends on how you stack. Like this is only like 8 millimeters, and we got a perfect blob out of that. All right, or don't listen to anything I just said and just follow these steps. Here we go. All right, project number 1. I'm going to show you how to use all the dichroic that you may have in your studio. Black, back, texture, everything. I'm showing you 4 different ways. And hang on, guys, don't skip ahead, because you know, well, you might not know if you're new, but I cover a lot, okay? So first one we're going to do is this guy, okay? This guy, right? These guys were all made using the technique that I'm going to show you, and this is actually starting with black back Dichro, okay? So you have the Dichro Dazzle up here, which is the 3 mil, and I want to have you, a lot of you may not be able to get this because it's sold out. We have it every 3 months, but you know, I want you to be able to do this video with what you also have in your studio, okay? All right, so that's these guys right here. Just spectacular. I might do a super zoom in the edit mode. You know what? I'm just going to do it now. I mean, I could do what I want, right? How many times have I told you guys in 15 years, it's my party, it's your party. We do what we want. All right, cool. Check it out. Check that out. Oh, so good, guys. Now, what you really can't capture on camera is the depth in these. It's unbelievable. We are going to do some stacking. All right, so let's call this the black back Dichro stack. All right. All right, here we go. This is the black back Dichro stack. No, black back Dichro stack, okay? Now, I cut all my glass into 1 inch out of my scrap packs, okay? So here it is. You're gonna go 1 inch, which is, I use this Mad Scientist. You don't have to have this. This is just, you know, thin black accordion from the Mad Scientist. I like to put stuff in there because I push all the stuff on you guys, and I want you to use what's there. If you don't want to use the accordion, you can certainly just use thin black. All right, this is showing you how to use anything that's in your studio. All right, so here's thin black. Then what I'm going to do is cut another 1 inch, and I'm going to make it thin, clear, regular bullseye glass. Everybody should have thin, clear caps. Capping causes depth, but more importantly, when I put the 3rd piece on top of there, it is a buffer. So, because I want Dichro to be down. I can't fuse Dichro to Dichro. This will split in the kiln. I have to have a buffer. All right, so that's what the clear glass is for. Then I find a piece of Dichroic that I love that's thin. I'm going to put the Dichro Dazzle in a minute, and I go Dichro down. Think Dichro down, D for depth. Dichro down equals depth. D, 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 okay? Dichro down, depth. Now, I'm going to give you this design tip. You can make blobs all day long, but if you don't learn the coloring of your Dichroic, guys, you're just kind of taking a crapshoot, right? So it's hard. You gotta get practice with it, but I'm going to give you the best tip ever, okay? I want you guys, when you're stacking Dichro up, and we have more to add to this still, I want you to start with your strongest color on the bottom, and then as you add Dichro stacking up, you're going to go lighter in color. Otherwise, if you put a piece of silver on here, which is the strongest color Dichro, I mean, it's so strong in color. If I put the silver on here right now, it's going to blind out everything that I have underneath, which is this gorgeous accordion piece of Mad Scientist Dichroic. This does not matter if you use 96 or Wismach 90. The same rule applies all the way through, okay? We're using bullseye coated Dichroic. Now, so I would not choose to use this. That would be probably my bottom piece later. I've got a nice piece of Rainbow 1, which has like a bluish teal green tint, Dichro down. I know that's not going to overpower that because I want that to come through and I want this to come through. Now, we're not done yet. We now have 3 squares that are 1 inch. If I melted that in the kiln, that would be a perfect fuse, right? Because glass wants to be a 1/4 inch thick. If you guys understand that, that is the law of glass. You know, no matter what kind of glass that you use, then you can be empowered by that. Now, what I want to add some Dichro Dazzle to this, okay? Would I take this Dichro Dazzle and cut it to be 1 inch? No, it's just going to blob out everywhere. I want to show off what I got going on here. So now I take a square of Dichro Dazzle with whatever color I choose, and I cut it to 3/4 inch, and I put it in the middle. By the way, I'm using hairspray in a needle tip bottle. It burns clean with Dichroic. I just get the dollar store hairspray, put it in a needle tip bottle. We have them on the website. I'll flash a picture. I can't find mine, of course, right now. But and then I take another stack, D, Dichro down for depth. All right, and that is a 1/4 inch. Let's get a real tight shot of this. All right, so I'm actually going smaller on the way up, like a pyramid, and that way this glass just melts down and doesn't cause me any issues of, you know, really blobbing out on the side. So take the time to cut your glass. It doesn't have to be 1 inch. It could be 1 1/4 inch, whatever you want. It could be a rectangle, you know, as long as you can cut very nicely. This does not even cut very nicely now that I'm seeing this up close, but, you know, use your strip cutters and your rulers and take some time and cut that stuff up. All right, so review one more time. Black back Dichro on the bottom. This could be texture, but this is thin glass, okay? Clear, same size to match. That's also thin. Clear, thin Dichro down. That's also thin. That gives us 6 millimeters. Always starting with even layers for 6 millimeters. That's 2 thick layers or 3 thin, right? All right, and now I go a little bit smaller with a 3/4 inch of Dichro Dazzle down, Dichro down, always. And then I go a 1/4 inch, even smaller, D, Dichro down, okay? If Dichro's not down, it's going to fire strong like this, and it's going to blind everything out. And let me show you what happens when you do that. So that's number 1 right there. You're going to get a totally different look on every single one that I'm going to show you. Check this out. Look at this. So you can see all the cool stuff that's down in there, right? I use this. This is my favorite. I love this Dichro Dazzle so much. And I put a piece of Dichro on top, and I flipped it up instead of down, and it fired strong, and it blocked out everything. Okay, that's going to happen to you guys. Happens to everybody. Happened to me last week. You know, I was whipping by real fast. You just got to be careful and use your tool, your toothpick trip. All right, that's number 1, and that will give you Dichro pieces that look like this. Okay, you can see that nice accordion come through. Oh, this one's spectacular, guys. All right, that's one type of blob. So I'm teaching you how to make something fantastic using what you have in your studio and the Dichro Dazzle, all right? Number 1, all right, check this out. Do you guys remember, it's a free video, so I'll put the link right below this video in the description. Open up that little arrow. That's a description right there. I'm going to put a link to this video. This is also free. It's called How to Make Your Own Dichro Patterns in Glass. Look at this. Okay. So I did these from another video, and I know a lot of you guys got these etching screens. This is one of my favorite things to do. This one was a pretty genius on my idea, guys. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not boasting. I'm just saying it like it is. It was awesome. All right. And I created these designs, and I want to show you how to use these designs with the Dichro Dazzle. Okay. Check it out. Here we go. So this next one is called Pattern Blobs. Let's call them Pattern Blobs. All right. All right. Check it out. This is all stuff I made with the screens. Okay. So we're going to use a couple pattern blobs. Now, if you don't have pattern glass, and yes, the old Profusion stuff will work with this. If you don't have pattern glass, you're just going to use regular Dichroic, all right? I just want to show you everything. It's one thing to, combining techniques is where you get real cool stuff. All right, now this is what we're going to make here. Oh, I just hate this camera. It's not, I mean, it's just not showing how it should. Let me get zoomed in. Okay, so this is combining Dichro Dazzle, the thick stuff. Stop it, guys. Look at those. That's incredible. That's insane. That's insane. Oh, this is awesome. I even forgot how oh yeah, I remember now. Okay. I made so many samples this week. All right, here we go. I suspect this is going to be one of your favorites. Okay, so we're going to call this pattern Blobbies, okay? Super simple. Ready? Watch this. I'm using a 1-inch piece of thin black glass. When I say thin or I say standard, it's important. It'll be listed at the end of each segment. This is how you get what I'm showing you here, okay? Thin black. Now, I want you guys to find a piece of Dichro Dazzle that you love, okay? This is the standard, the 3 mil thickness. Look at that one. All right, and you're going to cut that into a 1-inch square, same size as the bottom, starts the same way. Dichro down. That rule never changes. Never, ever, ever. Okay, Dichro down. So thin black, Dichro Dazzle. Now wait a minute here. We got 5 millimeters, right? We need 6. Watch what I do. I take a piece of the pattern Dichro, all right, and I want some maybe that has an open design, and then I'm going to take that piece, which is thin, cut it into a 1-inch square, and I'm going to put that Dichro down. Okay, same thing. Then what I'm going to do, I'm going to take another piece of Dichro Dazzle, and same thing, guys. It's just switching up the bases. It's just switching up the variables. And I'm going to go to a smaller square. Okay, Dichro down. You guessed it. I could stop there, or I could even go with one more tiny guy and Dichro down and stack it up. Remember, the more glass you put on here, the more, let me see if I can get a little shadowing here. Oh, that light is brutal. The more glass you put on, the more it's going to blob out, so you want to go even smaller with your squares, all right? Let's review number 2. Thin black, Dichro Dazzle down, same size. Thin clear dichroic pattern, down, always the same. Smaller square of Dichro Dazzle, smaller square. Now, my colors all the way up are going from the darkest to the lightest. Obviously, black is going to give you a very strong coloring with any Dichro that you use, all right? And then this is my pattern. And there's, you know, there's portions of the glass that can be, you know, etched, and you've got clear, and then you've got your pattern. My pattern right here is like a light rainbow. You can see here. There it is. That's the pattern I'm using. Get a little pattern in there, and then get a little square. These Dichro Dazzles on top give huge amounts of depth. I can go with this little square of cyan if I want, or not. I have enough. I have enough here to make it. It's all good. All right, so that was Dichro pattern Blobs. Okay. Blobs. Okay, now I'm going to switch it up here. I'm going to switch it up. This is probably one of my favorites. All right, check it out. Oh, this is like amazing, okay? So you can use this with pattern glass, or you can use it with regular glass, okay? At the end of the segment, I'm going to have here 1, 2, layer 1, layer 2, layer 3, layer 4. Write them all down and just, you know, see what you got in your studio. Okay, we're gonna go in for this. We're gonna go in. Oh, guys, come on, are you kidding me? Look at that. All right, this is just mesmerizing. This is probably one of my favorite ones. You can't even see all the depth and the craziness that's going on here. Look at that. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Look, that's crazy. All right. Oh, I can't wait to show I got a class in a couple of weeks, so I'm going to show them these. Okay, here's how we're going to do this one. This is stack number 3. And we're going to use some of the black pattern dichroic glass with the Dichro Dazzle, but we're going to do something very funky on top here, all right? Here we go. So this is a piece of pattern glass that I etched, okay, using the etching screens in your dichroic, so you can get amazing patterns. That's going to be in the description below, all right? So that's black glass now. If you don't have pattern stuff, use regular thin blacks. I mean, it's not going to be as cool, but it's still going to work and be cool, but not cool, all right? Then Dichro Dazzle, the thick stuff, which is the basic thing here is the thick stuff causes all of the depth, okay? So I want to go Dichro down, but wait a minute. I got an issue here, don't I? Okay, I cannot go Dichro to Dichro, so guess what's got to come in? That thin clear for a buffer. Okay, now I want it to be thin because we're stacking a lot of glass here, all right? Then I'm going Dichro Dazzle, okay, down. So it's thin black or thin black pattern, thin, clear, Dichro Dazzle down. Okay, now this Dichro Dazzle color is much lighter than this. How do I know? I can see the pattern through there. If you can't see the pattern through there, don't use that color Dichro. All right, now this is crazy. Bear with me. This is an insane amount of depth. I'm going to have to cut some glass and show you, but check out what I did. Now make sure you glue all these with your hairspray or your fuser's glue, but check this out. All right, guys, something crazy I did, and it works, and I love it. And so now that you've got your stack, and this is going to be a blobby. They might blob out a little bit too much for you. You might have to grind them, but it's worth it, okay? So I've got my stack here. Now, what I want you guys to do is cut a couple little squigglies of thin, clear dichroic and a couple little squigglies of thin, clear bullseye glass. Must be thin. No more Dichro Dazzle. It's going to be too much volume, okay? Now check it out. This is a very light color Dichro. If you, like, you know how you look at Dichro and you go, oh, I can't see what color that is at all. First of all, you should have black, but it's a very light color. I want to use the lightest color on top. Remember, no strong stuff. That's how it starts to look yucky. I'm just going to make just kind of a wave. Make a couple waves. Score a couple waves, all right? And so I know it's hard to see on camera. Let me see if I can get a marker or something to show you. So basically you could even use a marker to clean it off. So I'm basically cutting that, okay? All right, so I did that already, right? Now break a couple waves. Breaking from the middle. It's okay if it breaks off. And this is thin glass. These are very, very easy to cut. Okay? All right, so I got a couple waves. I want you to do the same thing with clear glass. There's always a smoother side to the glass. Cut on that side. Just waves, not, you know, I mean, I guess you could just do strips, but I find the wave is much more organic, and I like the organic look. All right, break these. All right. Now, your pieces are glued together. And what I want you to do is take, you ready for this? We're going to call this the Dichro crazy stack waves. Number 3, how's that? Okay, now here's my Dichro down. I can just tell because I've done this 40,000 times. You'll be able just to tell soon, you know, also soon as well. And I can just break that with my hands. I'm going to glue 2 pieces of wave of the clear dichroic, and this is my lightest dichroic in the stack. It doesn't work, guys, if you don't follow the rules. Dark on the bottom, light on the way to the top. That's how you're going to love it. All right, now I want to make sure these are contained, so I'm going to take the time to cut because I already have 6 millimeters of glass up here, and anything that lops over the side is going to be too much volume. So I'm going to take the time to make sure that these waves are contained inside the glass. Dichro down, that never changes. All right, and I'm just putting a couple wisps of color here. Any way you want to arrange it is fine with me. All right, now what I'm going to do is make like a crisscross, like a hashtag symbol. I'm going to take the thin clear. Now these aren't going to look so cool on camera, but when you guys get these out of the kiln, you're going to go, oh my gosh, that chick was right. Okay, trust me, I'm going to look real cool when you guys fire these. All right, now I take the, see how I'm just making like a crisscross pattern here? Now, why am I doing this? One, I do not have to worry about trapping air because this is all happening on top. The air can easily escape. I don't have issues with bubbles. I'm going to give you a full fusing schedule. Where do you see a bubble in this? I do not have one bubble in any of my pieces. That is from experimentation and firing correctly. As I'm going to give you the schedule, it's going to be at the end of this video. There's my stack. Let's zoom in. Everything is glued down, guys. This is going to give you an unbelievable amount of depth, okay? And it's just a wisp of dichro and then added depth on top. It is crazy. You can see that little hint, that glints of red on top, that cherry? That is what my crisscrosses were. And you can actually see the indentations of the clear glass. Oh, can you see that? You can see it after it's fired clearly. It is unbelievable. Then you have the Dichro Dazzle on layer 3. It's so thick, oh, forget about it. You're going to be so excited. You're going to be crazy. This one's a lot of fun. This one's a lot of fun. All right. Okay, so that was blob number 3. Now, notice that I always have my nice even stacks on the way up for the first 1/4 inch of glass. All right, now we're going to get into some color tinting, which I know you're going to love. All right, guys, here's some Dichro color tinting blobs. Let's go in real close. This is unbelievable. You're going to need some thin color glass. If any of you bought the jewelry, Bullseye Jewelry Tanya pack, there's a bunch of thin glass in there. You need thin, transparent color glass, Bullseye glass. I don't get paid for saying this, guys. I'm saying it like it is. They supersede anybody in color palette glass, okay? And they have thins, and they have tons of colors and thins. Now, these things, look at this. You can't even understand the depth. Look at that. I know, I get excited. I mean, can you tell? I don't know. That's just my thing, but all right. Look at that. Oh, this is called color tinting, guys, okay? I'm gonna advise you caution on one thing. Don't use crinkle glass, crinkle dichroic glass when doing this. I fire the blobs very hot at 1500 for, I don't know, look at the end of the thing. I can't remember. It's either 10 or 15 or it could be 12 minutes, but it burns out. It burns out, guys. And I don't like it. And it's, look at that. You can see this is actually gray. It's all like gray. It's the Dichro burning out. Yeah, it happens with the crinkle stuff. So stay away from that. Okay, color tinting. Here we go. Same kind of deal, but this is a little bit different. Okay, I want you guys to pick a piece of Dichro Dazzle. And they're all pretty strong colors because that's how I created them. And I want this is Dichro down. This is gonna seem weird to you. Notice the back of this right here is a very strong Dichro. What happened there, okay? I want Dichro down. It's all about the depth, D for depth. Dichro down. And then what I want you to do is cut a piece of, that's a Sharpie right there. You can wipe that off. Of color Bullseye glass that complements the Dichro Dazzle and put it over. It's color tinting. You see what's going on here? Let's put that right there. All right, you see what's going on? All right, so that's 3 millimeter, 2 millimeter, so color tinting. And then I'm gonna take another square of a lighter Dichro and just make it slightly smaller. And you can even put another one slightly smaller and you get that ring effect, almost like a geode, okay? And then I'm gonna go Dichro Dazzle. Again, 3/4 inch square. See, it's the same. It's just mixing up the variables. The better you cut, the more beautiful your glass is going to be. And then I have a little bit on top. It's about picking the right colors of Dichro. If you go darker, stronger colors on the bottom, lighter to the top, you're going to get some great effects. Using the clear glass as a lens effect for depth, okay? Now, you can do this in several different colors and get many, many different beautiful lens effects out of there. So there's that Dichro Dazzle down. I'm going to show you why I do it down. Here's a leaf green color. You know, I make sure that my, you know, the transparents that I'm using complement the Dichro Dazzle, okay? And then I've got my, there's another one, you do Dichro Dazzle again if you wanted to, but that's going to be a little bit thicker and it's stacked up like a pyramid, okay? Now, here's what's important to remember about this entire technique. Any piece that you cut is going to leave an impression of glass within the piece. For example, if you looked at this very closely, you could see there's that square. It's a square in there. There's a smaller square, and you can clearly see the outline of the littlest square, okay? So if you're just going to like lop pieces on, you can do that and just not cut them into squares and just put them on. You can definitely do that. Let me show you a couple examples of that. You can clearly see though, what you have to remember when designing this is whatever shape you cut, that's what's going to be left in Dichro. So there's a rectangle piece of Dichro, it melts down. And you notice, let me find a strong one here. All right, here we go, okay? So this has color tinting. I use the turquoise blue over the Dichro Dazzle, all right? And then I cut a triangle of this rainbow piece. You can clearly see it was a triangle. So use that to your advantage. Whatever piece you have on top in your stacks, just like that right there, it's going to leave that impression, obviously, right? So you could really play with that. Think about that. That's a huge design tip, guys, all right? Secondly, See how the Dichro comes up on the edges? That is because Dichro does not melt, it is contained. And when it's on top like that in uneven pieces, the glass melts down, but the edges of the dichroic that's on the glass floats up, all right? I love it when that happens. I used to like try to make that happen as much as possible, and it only happens when it's pieced together. So this is another cool one. You can clearly see I cut a square, right? So use that to your advantage, and you can see the outer edge has that non-covered Dichro. This is a very strong Dichro. I love it when that happens, all right? If you don't like that, I'm talking about the edging. The edging of Dichro is always going to float up when you piece it together on top, not when it's a whole piece. I hope that makes sense. You could put a clear dusting of bullseye powder on here and then full fuse it again, and then this would be, you know, that stronger part would be, you know, smoother. It wouldn't be like that. I want to thank you guys for something real quick, all right? Before I show you anything else that I'm going to show you. I want to thank everybody who supported the YouTube channel. We have a group called The Fusing Monsters. If you look right underneath this video, it says join for $6.99 a month. I do appreciate you guys buying supplies. You know, even you guys watching and supporting. Everybody, thank you so much. If you want to support further, you can join the YouTube channel, and there are some perks. And I'm starting to do monthly drawings for the Fusing Monsters for a $50 gift card starting next month. So make sure you guys look at your private member posts. You can check that out. Thanks a lot, guys, for supporting. And you know what? If you're new here, I'm not a salesman like that. I just want to thank you guys, and I appreciate any support, even if it's just a thumbs up and a like and a subscribe. That's cool too. All right. Are there any questions? If you do have questions, it is best to email me, guys. I get so many comments, so many YouTube comments. I cannot keep up with it. It's insane. You can email me, Tanya, Tanya, at aaeglass.com if you have a very specific question. Of course, please comment. Let me know if you like this video. This is great freaking blobs. I hope you guys have a blast with it. It's simple. It's fun. Thanks a lot, everybody. Happy New Year.